Good afternoon, everyone. Hey guys, this is Bruce Marshall with Simpler Trading for the nightly video update for Wednesday, May the 12th. And I'm looking at this going, whoa, what happened? The market's only supposed to go up, right? Well, you know, it didn't today. The S&P went down, it looks like about 89 points. That's a pretty good size down day today. We're going to look at couple different things, the ES, the Nasdaq, etc. Um, we all knew this day was coming. It was no secret that and it started a couple days ago, and actually it started probably a week or two ago when we started getting cracks in the ice in the Nasdaq. And if you watched the video I did last week, that's what I said. As the Nasdaq goes, so goes the rest of the market. And the Nasdaq has been leading us lower with the sell-off in the big tech names, Amazon, Apple, Google, Facebook, etc., Tesla, Netflix, and all that stuff. As we got through earnings, I mean, this is all kind of like pieces of the puzzle that are all coming together. The problem is that we all saw it coming, and the question is now: is it over? Is it still going? The selling, and how much more could it go, and that kind of thing. And that's what I want to talk about today. Let's back up for a minute here, and we'll look at a 10-day chart here. And I'm going to stick with the ES. Actually, let's do a 20-day chart. Kind of makes more sense. So I had been, and let me switch this to SPX. It might be a little bit easier to follow. So I've been looking at the SPX and trying to, kind of figure out what's going on here. We've had quite a few different, let's do this. Let me do 180 days, and I'm going to back up here to kind of get a perspective. All right, so when we cross, you see the red line here? That's a fire line, voodoo fire line. And you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times we hit that and failed. And then on the 10th time, it's bumping its head on the ceiling. Finally, it gets through, and then we go up here to Skyline up here, and we start working our way up. But, on the way up here, which was a pretty good bullish run higher in the S&P, we had a couple of downdrafts. I thought this might come back to this is a 4100 here. The fire line is actually at 4083 on the SPX. It's at 4100 on the ES. But I thought we might come back down, test this here. I thought we might come down, test it here. Head fakes. I thought we might test it here. And I kept saying, we're coming back to the 4100 level down to 4080. And that's where we came, right to it. And I got to say, I told you so, but it doesn't mean anything because it's hard to trade around that, not knowing how long if it will ever get there, or two, if it'll just keep going. We absolutely right here, we could have just kept on going higher, 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 because we're in a bullish momentum and the market, looked great. But now that we've come down, and this is the key, now that we've taken out that fire line on the downside, this opens us up to, more selling. And let me go out here and I'll show you. Again, I've been looking at this for quite a while. I'll show you the ATRs here in just a minute, but every time that you hit we hit a 3 ATR, you always pull back, and it's happening here. This one will probably match this past one because we're doing projections off of this one, which can get us down here into the 4,000 kind of area. Now, if you see this white line, this is snow line at 39.16. Again, this is SPX, not ES. Is that possible? Absolutely. Is it likely? Probably not. But the thing that gets me is, and this is the way it is. If you guys know, I've been trading professionally for 33 years, and it's always been this way. But the Fed, last week, days ago, was, we don't see any inflation and no problems. Just keep buying. We got you covered and all that kind of stuff. And of course, we all, if you bought anything lately, you see the inflation, right? It's ticking up. We know that. Everybody knows that. And now all of a sudden, wait a minute, we may have some inflation. And of course, we start coming down. This is all around inflation. That's the reason. The other, or the stated reason. The other reason is we just were so extended on the upside. We're past earnings season. What news is going to drive us further? We're kind of running out of catalyst to continue to drive us higher, and valuations are getting way out of whack. This is probably the highest valuations I think we've ever seen in the market. So this is very normal, and this is minimal. We could get something much bigger. I don't think we will, but we could, and it still actually wouldn't break the trend on a longer term time frame. Let's check this out. Excuse me, go 5 years. Look at that. I mean, we should be about here to get us back down into kind of normal range market. But again, I'm not predicting that. I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe if some kind of other shoes drop with some inflation and we start, raising rates, the Fed comes out and says we're going to raise rates and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we're going to see much more downside, but I don't see that happening yet. So right here, again, since we've taken out that fire line, I would anticipate more downside. If you have been a cautious bull, like I've been saying, and I think a lot of us have been saying for a little while now, using tight stops and sitting in cash. I told you guys I've been mostly in cash, kind of sitting on my hands, kind of waiting on this, and I will be a buyer here. Not here, but I'll be buyer soon when we get kind of the signal that it's time to go back in. Right now, it's definitely not the time to go back in yet. It might be soon. This is not horrific. This is just kind of normal stuff, right? We've seen it, all the red dots and lines you see right there. It happens all the time. This is a little more than normal, but it's nothing out of the ordinary. So I'm just going to look at the S&P right now. Well, actually, you know what? Let's switch over. I'll show you the Nasdaq, because this is kind of what led up to me getting the conviction to kind of pull a lot of chips off the table last week. Was this, when you get a big turn in the Nasdaq here, this was selling in Google, Apple, Facebook, Tesla, Netflix, all Apple. Oh, no. The Nasdaq starts rolling over, and the S&P was like this. And I'm like, well, connect the dots. The S&P is going to follow the Nasdaq. Typically leads, right? So that's where we are now. Notice the Nasdaq is down here on a big old giant tree line. Maybe this holds and we bounce, and this is all we get. This is all it was, and maybe that's the case. I don't know. Fortunately for me and everyone in bias, we've only got 2 positions on, and they're situated fine for this kind of market, and so I really don't care if it goes lower. I will be looking for an entry point on the downside, not here. I'll be looking for some conviction, on the buy side, and I will short it all. If we continue to go down, I'll continue to short it on the downside. And I've been scalping this thing the last week, on a very short-term time frames, and it's working well. But other than that, we wait, we watch, we wait, we look at the charts, we see where the moving averages are, and try to pick our entries. And if you're in, if you got long stocks, or you're in things you're worried about, really tighten up your stops. Don't play around with this, because this thing could keep going. We could have multiple days like this, because once it gets in sell mode, it can do this, and we can keep going and going and going and going and going and going. This is for a month. We could keep going. Again, I'm really not seeing that yet, but absolutely it's possible. So you got to be completely neutral here, unbiased either way. We could go up, we could go down, and just play it as it comes. Very short-term time frames with tight stops, and that's what I'm doing. So I hope that helps. Hope it makes sense. I hope you're faring well in this market, and we'll see what we get tomorrow and into the end of the week, and we'll go from there. So if you can, join us in the trading room. Join me in the main room in Simpler, the gold room, or come check out Bias if you're not in Bias already, and we'll dive deeper into this. So thanks for time. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Without Simpler Trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency. It's one of the things that won me